Carolina at Seattle. We've just seen before we came on air that Bryce Young is not going to play. Does that affect this matchup for you at all?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we saw last year Andy Dalton, he had a 67% completion record for the Saints, and he kind of looked better than we expected him to. But he still only averaged 12.6 points per game. And that was thrown to Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson, who was having a fantastic season. What we've seen, and you don't have to go far on Twitter to see clips of the Panthers wide receivers just not getting open. Bryce Young has nobody to throw to. So I don't think you can start any of the Panthers outside maybe a dart throw on Hayden Hurst. The Seahawks, they've allowed the fourth most receiving yards to tight ends. Last year, they really struggled against the position. So if you're stacking up like Geno and you're looking for a bring back, Hayden Hurst is the only one I'd really look to. Like Miles Sanders, he's probably going to get a lot of work, but Seattle, they've faced the league high 62 rush attempts and they're only allowing 2.7 yards per carry, which is second best in the league. So, yeah, the main interest, it just comes down to how much do the Seahawks put their foot on the pedal and really try to just crush an opponent and feel good about themselves. Like Kenneth Walker, again, like I angered big Kenneth Walker Twitter today by talking about the fact that he's not been terribly productive, had a lot of touches last week that went for less than 1 yard compared to only a couple of runs where they went for over 5 yards. And he got very lucky. You know, he benefited from DK Metcalf being tackled at like the 1 inch line, and then Kenneth Walker took it in for a touchdown. But I think you can go back to the well on Kenneth Walker here. This doesn't feel like the time where Zach Charbonnet suddenly pops up for a lot of play. Geno Smith seemed to get a bit more right last week. You know, his completion rate jumped from 61% in week 1 to 75% last week. Yards per attempt jumped from 4.3 to 8. And even though the Seahawks have problems on offensive line, Carolina has generated pressure on quarterbacks at a league low 16%. So I'm not expecting Geno to be under any pressure. I can't see how the Panthers really do anything here. So maybe they upset me and pull it out of the bag.
No, I tend to agree. I think this could be an absolute boat race. And I don't particularly want to have any part of any of that Carolina offense this week. The guy I want to talk about that you've not touched on there, Zach Charbonnet. We were both huge fans in the offseason. It feels like through 2 weeks, everybody's really high on Kenneth Walker. Yet, to me, it's the same issues that we had last year. It's boom-bust potential. He's not getting it done. And last week, he started to reduce the passing game usage. We see Dwayne McFarland's talking about he's already starting to, cede some of that passing game usage to Zach Charbonnet. I think Zach Charbonnet is a really sneaky buy now. If you're in a redraft league, you can probably go and grab him off the waiver wire. If you're dynasty, I think his price is definitely going to be cheaper than it was a month, 2 months ago. And he's a guy that I'm really interested to go and get because I think he is going to have a role in this offense moving forward.
Yeah, and one point I made on Twitter earlier when people were mad at me, like Kenneth Walker has 1 fourth quarter touch in the last 2 games. Like they aren't relying on him at that point in the game. Against the Lions, he had 3 touches for more than 3 yards and 10 touches for 1 or fewer yards. Pete Carroll's old school. If you keep wasting opportunities, he's going to put the other guy in there at some point and see what he can do.